My name is Christian Alshon. If you haven't been to the channel, I'm currently ranked number 5 in the world for singles in pickleball. And today we're going to be doing a match analysis. Specifically, we're going to focus on 3 things that the best players do. These 3 things are, number 1, and the most important, anticipating. Number 2, hitting a deep return. It's very important. And lastly, 3rd, having a strategy is so important, and that's going to be our 3rd thing that the best pickleball players always do when going into a match. In order to get a first-hand look at these 3 aspects that all the top pros do, we're going to watch a singles finals of the top pros doing this. We're going to watch the finals of PPA Atlanta, Federico Staksrud versus Ben Johns. Unfortunately, I lost in the semis here to Fedi. You know, he played very well and he deserved to be in the finals. But let's jump into this. So this is the first point I want to focus on. It's only 1-0, and here you're going to see Ben predict a shot that Federico hit. There's a couple parts here that we'll focus on. So first off, we'll stop right here. Federico hit a short return. This allows Ben to hit a really good third and move forward. Now here, Ben is on the left side of the court, and you would think he's ready for a ball cross court, but immediately he anticipates that Federico is going to hit his forehand down the line. So he doesn't even move. Look, he didn't move at all. And right here, then Ben hits a deep volley and tries to hit another deep volley. So Ben actually lost this point, but it's a great first point because you see exactly what we're focusing on. Let's watch it one more time quick so you can see it in real time. Short return, guesses the right side, has a ball that he can and Ben is still in the lead. Ben's still in the lead in this point. He's dictating this point. So I mean, I thought that was a great point to start off with. All right, here's the next point I want to focus on. Here I want you to look at Federico's return. I mean, it's pretty simple when you just see it right there. Federico hit his return maybe a foot within the line, which is risky, but if you hit your return that deep, you're probably going to win the point. I mean, you can see that the ball Federico gets is a high forehand, and now he's got the whole court to put it away. So returning deep, in the 2 points we've seen, 1 point he returned short and he lost. The other point he returned deep and he won. I'm not saying it's easy to return deep, but that is how you win points. All right, a missed fourth and return from Federico Staksrud, and Ben Johns took a 3-0 lead. And this is the next point I want to focus on. What you're going to see is Ben do a really good job of anticipating the next shot. So were you able to catch it? There were actually 2 times where you could use the word predict, you can use the word anticipate, but 2 times where he guessed the side and it worked out. Let's watch this in slow motion. So right here, Federico has not hit the ball, and Ben is on the left side of the court, leaving the right side of the court open, yet he's already ready for the ball to go to the left side of his body, anticipating it over there. If he, like a lot of players, would just run to the open court, he would now be reaching behind him for the next shot. And then here we go again, same thing. Federico has a shot, open court, what's Ben gonna do? Before Fed hits it, he's already leaning this way. is able to hit a great volley, and then overall solid end to the point. So, I mean, there's a couple ways to anticipate your opponent. Here, Ben has played Federico a lot. Federico plays a lot like Ben, so I think Ben has an advantage over other players on guessing what Fed is going to do. On top of that, you can look at your opponent. This is very, very complex and high-level stuff, but you can look at your opponent and kind of see the way their body is faced or body is positioned, and the way their paddle is faced, and kind of use those to help your guess. So, I mean, it's not easy, but you can definitely do that. I mean, that's overall great point. I mean, get to the net, hit a couple kitchen shots, and then save an ATP to win the point. Let's watch this one as well. Very, very simple point there. Ben hits a solid serve. Federico hits a short return and just gets annihilated with the fourth. Again, you'll see time and time again, hitting a short return, you're going to lose the point so often. And it could be, I mean, Federico has one of the best returns in the game. It could be that after losing a kitchen point, you know, that those are big points. Winning kitchen points, it takes a toll if you're losing those points, because now you feel pressure, and you can see a little bit of pressure put on Fed here. So now Ben's up 4-2. I mean, it's still very, very close, but let's keep going. I mean, again, we'll put it in slow motion just so we can see this. I want you to see if you can see the exact moment when Ben anticipates. Great shot from Fed. Here we go. You have Ben with the entire left side of the court open, and he knows that Fed is going to try and go behind him. So he kind of leans to the middle and then goes right over. Goes right back over. This isn't easy stuff, but you'll see that that's the key to winning against the top players. I'm watching this, I'm studying this mostly for, myself to help, I want to be in this finals, all right? So because I'm not in this finals, here I am watching the finals to try and figure out what Ben did to beat the guy that beat me. And I mean, it kind of comes down to that. Okay, and then let's watch the point immediately after. A short return from Fed. Ben hit, I'm going to say not a great backhand, right to Fed's forehand, and Fed that's a free point. That's a free miss. And it happened the time before when Ben anticipated the next point, he kind of got a free point. It happened again here. And we'll see if that keeps happening. This next point is fun, so let's watch it. Crazy. The fact that Ben even had a chance in that point is absurd. And I mean, the part where pickleball is so cool, I mean, okay, so Ben is off the court over here. Now he's off the court over here. Then he runs up to the net over here. Look at his positioning. And now he's out of the camera right here. Once again, out of the camera over here, and he gets past. Ben was out of the camera multiple times. He's at the back of the court. He's at the front of the court. I mean, you don't just need lateral movement. You need to be able to move in all directions in singles. You have some crazy points, and I thought this was a really cool point that we could include. Here we go again. I mean, we don't need to dive into this one too much, but Ben hits a ball and comes in. He's at the net. Once again, he doesn't believe that the ball is going to go to the open court. He's ready for it to come behind him. He's not moving all the way over to the open court. He's waiting, and he's guessing. He's guessing because, I mean, if Federico hits a ball over here, that's a winner. And he's guessing right. And then he follows it up with, I don't know if that's a free point, but yet another relatively easy point after anticipating one at the net. After anticipating a point at the net, he wins the following one. It's pretty mental, and you can't. It could be correlation, but it's happening so much. You know, I'm convinced it's causation. Watch, we're gonna see it again. It's 9-2. It's 9-2. Ben loses the point here, yes, but this is probably the earliest he leaves in anticipating a shot. We're gonna go even slower right here. I should have waited a second. Okay. Federico has not hit the ball yet. Ben is not covering the right side of the court. Fed still hasn't hit the ball. He's already leaning there. I mean, the reaction time is, you can't see the reaction time because it happens as or before Fed is hitting the shot. It's crazy. And then it's the same thing the very next point. So we already watched this. Right here. It's a free point. It's actually the first point where Ben guesses wrong. Ben thinks it's the same thing over and over again. Ben thinks the ball is going to go behind him rather than to the open court. Fed has learned from his mistakes, but it could be just from the pressure, or, you know, maybe he's not playing his best this game. That happens, but it's just another free point. Another free point. I mean, if we go back to the start of this point, Ben hit a short return and got away with it. That's crazy. And then there's the free point too. That's the free point from winning the kitchen points. We've seen it many times. So, and then backhand winner to win the match. Great shot. So, or to backhand winner to win the game. So some of the takeaways from this first game are that the most important points are the ones where both players are at the kitchen. Those points have the most effect on, I believe, the mental. Because those are the points where if you're confident in the points at the kitchen, then you don't feel pressure in the rest of your game. Whereas if you're not confident in being at the kitchen with someone, then you feel the pressure on other shots like your serves and your returns and your thirds in order to hit those better, to give yourself an advantage that you are lacking because of that. So another takeaway is the points that Ben won at the kitchen, most of them weren't points that added to his total score. Like, a lot of those points were not the points that got him to 11. The points that got him to 11 were the, you know, getting free points, if you will, relatively free unforced error points from driving or just unforced errors. So those are the two takeaways. Before we jump into the second game and conclude this video shortly, I'd just like to say that every month I'm going to be giving away one free paddle. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, and at the end of the month, and I will pick one lucky subscriber to win one of my paddles. All right, let's finish this. So Ben is up 6-3 in the second, and Let's keep watching. Just a solid point. If you watch the first game of this in its entirety, you will notice that Ben was hitting a lot of his forehands from the baseline as drives to Federico's backhand. And then Ben was also dropping his backhand down the line to Federico's forehand. And he kind of stuck with those two patterns for most of the first game. Even in the points we watched, you'll see he does that. At the start of this second game, he was driving cross court more. He was dropping cross court, his backhand cross court more. He doesn't do it all the time, what I just said, but he does do it most of the time, and it works well against Federico. And he went away from that because he might have felt comfortable with his lead. He went away, and then he kind of came back to it. Just had a great point right there. Here we'll see another point with anticipation. Drives to the backhand, drops the forehand, or drops to the forehand. I was talking, but let's look, right? So this is the pattern he did that was working. It's interesting because I wonder if this is just specific to Ben and him expecting people to go behind him, because he's already ready for Fed to hit the ball there. So next time I play Ben, I'm taking that forehand and I'm hitting it cross court, and we'll see what he does. But right there, Fed has the forehand, goes cross court, and he pays the price. It's a mix of Ben's reaction time being very good, but he's anticipating that. You can see him leaning certain ways, and the way you know that too is because we've seen him get caught doing that. The next point is proof that he's guessing right here. Right there, exactly what I just said. Ben likes to think it's going behind him. Federico disguises it well. I think that's what Fed did a really good job of here, is it disguising that and going behind him. I mean, it's a little too late at this point. It's never too late to come back, but it's definitely a tough time. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I think Fed almost makes a comeback. Yeah. I mean, that's a good point where he's not always driving his forehand. He does change it up, or he's not always driving his forehand cross court. He changes it up a little bit, and that's important, because if you do the same shot over and over again, your opponent will predict it. So this is match point. Crazy shot from Fed. Anyway, we can fast forward. Fed wins a couple points. Actually, this is interesting. So Fed actually won a few points, was having an amazing comeback, and then 7-10 serving, wins 3 points in a row. This is tough. This is just extra at this point. This ball came off Ben's paddle right here. It's now right here. It probably went like here. It's going to land right here. And Fed takes it out of the air. All Ben has to do is just put his paddle out there. This same thing happened earlier in the game where Federico went for an Ernie, didn't put it away. Ben just put his paddle there. He was making a comeback, but didn't work. Does Ben win this point or the next one? There we go. Drive to Fed's backhand. So in conclusion, you could say this is Ben John's secret to his singles success in pickleball. Anticipation is the main thing. Anyway, the best 3 pickleball players do this, I know I do this, is anticipate deep returns, as that goes without saying. And then third is have a strategy. And in this case, one of them, we didn't really touch on it too much, but deep volleys. Every time Federico was back in this match, Ben was hitting deep volleys. And then on top of the strategy, you could also say driving to Fed's backhand and dropping to Fed's forehand. I watched this in the perspective of like Ben, and like from Ben's side, because Fed beat me, Ben beat Fed. I wanted to watch the winner to see their point of view of the match. Anyway, thanks for watching. I mean, if you made it this far and you enjoyed this video, like the video, subscribe to the channel. You guys commented that you wanted a little bit more structure in my last video, because for my match analysis, I just watch it and I just talk as I go. For this match, I watched it, I studied it, and I figured out what I wanted to talk about. I figured out the specific points I wanted to talk about, and there was more structure. It was different because this is the first time I analyzed a pickleball match that I was not playing, or at least on camera. So that was interesting. I've never said the name Ben and Fed so many times, but anyway, like the video, subscribe. This is the content we're putting out there. Like, let's go, baby. Make sure you watch the next one. YouTube thinks you'll like this video right here. I do too. Peace.